What's up everybody? In this video you're going to learn about one metaverse cryptocurrency which has huge potential to grow. Now if you're looking to potentially 10x your money over time, then this is something that I believe you should probably look into. You've probably seen that Facebook have recently rebranded to Meta. And that's huge because Facebook has been one of the most, if not the most successful social media platform to date. Now, I am Tak Chi Ho, also known as Tak, and welcome to the Meta Wealth YouTube channel. Now, on this channel, you're going to get the latest news on NFTs, cryptos, and everything to do with the metaverse. So if you want to stay on the cutting edge of technologies and you want to ride these trends, these waves, and potentially make a lot of money in the process, then you need to subscribe to our channel. Now, the Meta Wealth team are a group of traders and investors that have hundreds of thousands invested into NFTs and cryptocurrencies. I'm also the project manager for the Super Creator NFT project by IAC, I Am Creator. Now, this project I'm super excited about, and if you want to learn more about why I'm so excited about this project, then go to the link in the description below, join us on Discord to get the latest updates. Whilst you're down there, you might as well follow us on Twitter to keep up to date on the latest news in crypto, NFTs, and the meta space, so you don't get left behind and you don't miss out on potentially massive gains. Now, before we dive in, it's really important that I mention that this is not financial advice. I am not your financial advisor, and I advise you, well actually I don't advise you, but I would recommend that you always do your own research and invest with care, being mindful. So firstly, you might be wondering, what is so important about the metaverse? Why should I even care about it? Well, it's important because it seems like the trend that we're going towards is by entering into the virtual and having more augmented experiences. And it's clear to see this when even PlayStations, they now have the VR goggles, with Facebook rebranding to Meta, and that forming a major part of their strategy for the future. This is really where things are going. So this is the opportunity for loads of different companies to enter the virtual space. So we're entering a phase where there's this big opportunity in the virtual space, where pretty much everything and anything that has been occurring in our physical reality could potentially be put into the virtual space. So things like having meetings, so communication, entertainment, media, gaming, education, all of these experiences, all of these sectors could go into the virtual space, and as a result of that, create new, more immersive experiences. So it's still really early on. So it's one of those industries which is in the early adoption phase before things are going to explode. So this is a big opportunity for businesses, but also for the average consumer, because they can invest in early projects which are related to the metaverse. Now, if you've been following any projects like Mana, like Decentraland, or Sand, which are two metaverses, then you would have seen that once Facebook rebranded to Meta, those two cryptocurrencies saw a huge spike. So let's just have a quick look at that before we dive in. So here we can see that Facebook rebranded on the 28th to Meta. And if we look at Mana, Decentraland, which is a cryptocurrency which is traded within the metaverse called Decentraland, it's currently at $3.06. But if we look at the chart, we can see that, and if we go back to kind of mid-October, it was still at under $1. And then as soon as it hit kind of 31st of October, it spiked to almost $3, and then hitting all-time highs of $5.5. So now it's kind of cooled down a little bit. If we look at the 3-month chart, it had that initial spike, hit the all-time highs, and now it's come down a little bit. So now it's at a market cap of almost $6 billion, $5.5 billion. And very quickly, if we look at one of the other very popular metaverses, so these two Mana and Sans, or Decentraland and the Sandbox, I would say are kind of the most well-known metaverse projects. And as a result, of course, they've seen a huge spike. So if we go back again, if we look at this, back in October, when it hit October 28th is when the increase began. And then it hit an all-time high of around $8.40. So now it's got a market cap of almost 5 billion, 4.7 billion. So just with Facebook rebranding to Meta, it's caused a huge almost awakening in the community around how important the metaverse is going to be. So really the huge gain that Decentraland and the Sandbox have achieved is a large part due to the fact that Facebook recently rebranded to Meta. So it was giving that publicity to the whole idea of going into the meta space. As promised at the beginning of the video, let me tell you about one metaverse coin which I believe has a lot of potential for growth. It is Blocktopia, also known as Block. So Blocktopia, similar to Decentraland, similar to the Sandbox, is another metaverse that's being developed. And Block, which you're seeing right now, is the cryptocurrency which is linked to that metaverse. So it's the cryptocurrency which is in circulation within that metaverse. So it will eventually be used to trade items. Now, at the moment, it's for just over 4 cents per token, per block. And you can see again, very similar to the other charts, that around the end of October is when it had a bit of a run up. So it went from 2.5 cents to an all-time high of about 13.5 cents. And then it dipped, had another run up, and then now it's kind of consolidating or settled down quite a lot. So at the moment, it's at a market cap of 355 billion. Now, if Decentraland and the Sandbox are any indications of the potential growth of Blocktopia, then Blocktopia has the potential to reach that $3 billion, $4 billion, $5 billion market cap, which would mean Block has the potential to 10x. The reason why I want to highlight Blocktopia is for a number of reasons. Now, I'm going to go to their website. The first thing I want to highlight is that it's important for a metaverse, if it's going to be successful, it needs to draw in users. Now, for metaverses, imagine you need to spend, if you want to spend a lot of time in the metaverse, and that's what the developers want you to do, spend more time in the metaverse, that means you will have the potential to have a more valuable advertising spaces. Because the more attention that you're able to gather and the longer that you're able to retain it, then that equals value for advertisers. And in metaverses, things work very similarly to normal reality. So within a metaverse, it's basically a virtual reality, right? So there is going to be things like advertising space, and that's what you're seeing on the screen right now. And actually, if you can see there was a advertisement of Jake Paul for his boxing. So there needs to be an attraction for users to enter the metaspace and remain in the metaspace. So going back to the point I want to make is that Blocktopia actually, in my opinion, looks really beautiful. The aesthetic is kind of like that cyberpunk or Tron aesthetic, which I believe is appealing to a lot of people, especially like gamers. And just in general, the graphics look really, really good. So I think that will be a big attraction for people. Now, the second thing that I like about Blocktopia is that it is built on the Polygon network. So that means compared to Ethereum, or at the moment, Ethereum gas prices are really high. So whenever you're doing transactions or making transactions, then you're going to potentially pay quite a lot of fees. So the good thing about being on the Polygon network is that it's going to have much lower fees. Now, before I kind of move on, I just want to touch upon this point which is highlighted in here. It mentions that the virtual reality market in 2018 was valued at roughly 26.8 billion. But The expected rate of growth means that by 2025, the virtual reality market could potentially reach approximately 800 billion. So there's a huge amount of potential, untapped potential in the metaverse, which is why recently companies like Facebook have really pivoted their entire business strategy to center around entering the metaverse and providing services for virtual reality and augmented realities. So just a general thing to touch upon, just so you understand the potential for earning and the potential for successful metaverses, is that there's loads of possibilities for earning money within the metaverse, and if there's potential for people to earn money, then that is actually a reason for them to be in these metaverses and to participate and to create within the metaverses. Now, a good example, one of the main things that's going to occur is creators of, products, items, clothing, or designs of, for example, weapons or cars can be made within the metaverse, and they can become their own NFTs. And then these creators that are creating objects and sought after items within the metaspace will have the potential to earn money. And within any metaspace, just like in the normal NFT industry, whenever an NFT is traded, there is the potential for the creator of that NFT to earn a royalty. So this is a huge incentive for creators to enter the metaspace and to create items for other people, because every time their items are traded, then they have the potential to earn royalties. So it's not just beneficial for the creators, but it's also beneficial for the platforms, because whenever, just like when we have taxes on our products or taxes on our transactions, in a metaspace, any transactions that occur, they can take a percentage of. So within something like Blocktopia, there will be real estate, there will be items traded as NFTs, and whenever there's a purchase or a trade or any transaction, then Blocktopia will be able to get a transaction fee. So that's huge potential for revenue growth and revenue generation. Now, another thing that I want to touch upon is that Blocktopia does appear to have good level and a good amount of partnerships and investors, which you can see here. But the good thing about it is that I don't feel like it's been hyped so much, like to the level that the Sandbox or Decentraland has. So when it gets to that point where a lot of people are beginning to hype it up, then we might see that next run up and a kind of spike in price action. Now you can see here that they're partnered with PlayStation and Sky Vegas, which are very big companies. And the final thing I want to touch on is that it seems like they have been making some good progress in the development of their metaverse. So really, if they continue in this manner and they actually are successful in deploying, then I don't see why there wouldn't be any potential for further growth. Now, I want to keep this video short, and this is just a very quick overview of a cryptocurrency that I feel is very compelling. So I hope you've learned something in this video. I just wanted to keep it nice and short and show you one of the cryptocurrencies, one of the metaverse projects that I'm pretty excited about. Now, remember that this is not financial advice, and you should always invest at your own risk, so be mindful. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say, so here's me signing out. I hope you have a beautiful day.